You ever have one of those days where the universe just lines up to teach you a lesson? And by lesson, I mean an absolute comedy of errors you just have to laugh at, or you'll lose your mind. That's pretty much been my life, and trust me, I've had a front row seat to some real family circus moments. But I'll never forget the day we decided to turn the tables on my mom, because she just couldn't help herself. She'd gossip about anything, everyone, anywhere, even if you begged her not to. And she'd always look you in the eye and swear. Cross her heart, she never said a word. You know what I mean? So one rainy Sunday, I was sitting around with my friend Zoe, just shooting the breeze, and we finally reached our breaking point. Zoe put on the performance of her life, sat down across from my mom at the kitchen table, and, with this Oscar-worthy trembling voice, told her she was pregnant. But please, Mrs. Carter, you cannot tell anyone. I haven't even told my own mom yet. My mom gave her that big, serious nod and patted her hand. Swore it was safe with her, not a soul would know. Let me tell you, we didn't even make it 24 hours. By noon the next day, my grandma called me up, practically knitting a baby blanket over the phone. My sister Olivia corners me in the hallway. So, is Zoe keeping the baby? And I'm still processing when the cashier at Target whispers, "Tell Zoe good luck." At that point, it felt like I'd dropped a secret in a lake and watched the ripples hit the shore in record time. By dinner, even my dad is asking how Zoe's handling morning sickness, like it's the family news at 6. That's when I knew we had her. I called my mom out, right there in the living room. "Mom, we made the whole thing up. Zoe isn't pregnant. We just wanted to see if you'd keep a secret for once." She just stood there, mouth open, totally silent for the first time in, I swear, my entire life. My dad couldn't stop laughing. He still tells that story, how we finally got her, after all these years of neighborhood gossip about everything from Mrs. Butler's new husband to, apparently, his own hemorrhoid cream. Yeah, that happened. And you'd think my mom would lay low after that. But no, she mostly kept her mouth shut for a while, though every now and then, I'd catch her with that look, like she was just dying to spill the tea on someone else. Old habits, you know. But if you really want to talk about audacity, wait till you hear what happened with my brother in my house. I'm the oldest. Always have been, always will be, by about 4 years. And my parents, for whatever reason, have always treated my brother like the crown prince. The guy could probably set the backyard on fire, and somehow it'd be my fault for not hiding the matches. I moved out at 18, not because I did anything wrong, just because, as my mom put it, "You're an adult now, you'll figure it out." My brother, on the other hand, got to stay until he was 23, rent-free, with mom doing his laundry and dad paying his car insurance. Anyway, I spent my early 20s bouncing from couch to couch, working crappy jobs, and slowly piecing my life together. It wasn't glamorous, but I made it through. Then, when my grandmother passed, she left me just enough to put a down payment on a tiny, slightly crooked 2-bedroom house. A real fixer-upper, but it was mine. For the first time, I felt like I had something nobody could take from me. You better believe I poured my heart into that place. Painted the walls myself, replaced all the ugly fixtures, even learned how to tile a bathroom from a YouTube video. Made every mistake possible, but by the end, it was home. My parents visited once, kind of sniffed around, and my dad made sure to tell me my brother was waiting for the right time to buy, which, translation, meant he was still in their guest room playing Fortnite. And then, out of the blue, my parents call me one Sunday, right as I'm putting up shelves in the living room. "Your brother's in a tight spot," my mom says. "He got his girlfriend pregnant. They're getting married, but they can't afford a deposit anywhere." My dad takes over. "Family helps family, right? And you're older, you're settled. Maybe he could move in with you." But they don't mean crash on the couch for a month. No, they want me to give him the big bedroom, the one I spent weeks fixing up. I can make myself at home, in the basement, they say. I just stared at the phone, listening to them lay out this whole plan, my brother, his girlfriend, their baby, me in the basement like some kind of grumpy landlord. And when I reminded them this was my house, that I'd earned it, my dad just said, "Paperwork isn't as important as family." My mom hit me with the guilt trip. How disappointed Grandma would be. "Just give your brother the house. You'll figure things out. You always do." Let me back up a sec. They actually said, "Just give your brother the house." Like it was a sweater or a set of golf clubs. So I told them I'd think about it. Spent 3 days stewing, then called a lawyer, looked up every landlord-tenant law in the state, and drew up a perfectly legal market-rate lease. Next weekend, my brother shows up with a U-Haul, and I meet him at the door with a pen and contract. "If you want to live here, we do it right," I say. He doesn't even read it, just signs and hauls in his stuff. First month, fine. Rent's paid, because my parents forked over the cash. Second month, he asks to pay half now, half later. I say nope. This is real life, man. Suddenly, I'm getting angry calls from my parents. "How could you do this to family?" I remind them. They told me to give him the house. But I also remind them I have a mortgage, and I can't just let him live there for free. If they want to cover his rent, fine. But otherwise, the rules are the rules. Third month, no rent at all. So I hand him a 30-day notice. Pay or move out. He flips. Says I'm making his baby homeless. Calls my parents. And they call me. All dramatic. My mom's crying. My dad's yelling about technicalities. I tell them, "Remember when you kicked me out at 18? He's 24. He'll figure it out." He doesn't pay, doesn't leave, so I file for eviction. 6 weeks of hell. They trash the place, leave dirty diapers everywhere, and bring friends over all hours. My house turns into a war zone. I document everything: photos, videos, neighbor complaints. My parents beg, plead, bribe, anything to avoid the eviction. The day in court comes. I bring every shred of proof, every notice, every text. My brother, with my parents as his witnesses, tries to make it about family and hardship, but the judge is having none of it. Eviction granted. They have to move in with my parents. Now, here's the twist nobody saw coming. My parents call me after a month, not to apologize, but to complain about how crowded their house is. The baby's crying. There's no privacy. My brother and his girlfriend are fighting. I just nod and say, "Well, maybe you should help him find his own place. He is an adult, after all." You could hear the silence on the line. 3 months later, my dad actually apologizes. Says he gets it now, why I handled things by the book. He asks if maybe I'll let my brother come back, but with a proper lease this time, and my parents as guarantors. I say thanks, but no thanks. I've learned my lesson. Peace and quiet. Shelves that stay exactly where I put them. That's what I worked for. My brother eventually gets a studio across town. His relationship doesn't make it, but he learns how to manage on his own. My parents finally start holding him to the same standards they held me to. And me? I finally feel like the cycle is broken. Sometimes you have to let people fall before they figure out how to stand. And you know, the house is still mine. It's quiet, peaceful, sometimes too quiet, if I'm honest, but it's home. Sometimes helping family means letting them face the music. If you stuck with me through this, I want to hear your take. Was I too harsh? Did I do the right thing? Drop your thoughts below. What would you have done if your parents tried to hand over your house like it was last year's Christmas sweater? Let's get into it, because I have a feeling I'm not the only one who's been caught in the family crossfire.